and welcome to this weekly overview demo of PrintVis. My name is Michael Bradley, and today I'm going to take you on a short guided tour of our PrintVis solution for print businesses, which is built as a combined product with Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central to create a full ERP for any size or type of print or graphics company. So PrintVis gives you the print-specific functionality within the Business Central ERP. So the PrintVis side of things, which is nearly indistinguishable from the Business Central part because it is a completely combined embedded product. PrintVis gives you your estimating, quoting, planning, scheduling, production management, inventory and purchasing, shop floor management for your workers out at the print shop, and then job costing and reporting. Meanwhile, Business Central covers everything else you need with a full accounting package, supply chain, warehouse management, and very robust reporting and analysis. So today I'm just going to create a simple commercial print quote. I'll move it through from estimation to order, planning and purchasing, and then we'll also switch over to look at the shop floor from a press operator's perspective. So let's dive in. Now, all of the features that I mentioned occur within what's called case management, where a case is a repository basically for all of the information and activity for every unique job, from the request for the quote all the way to the invoice and your post-production analysis. We are looking here at the PrintVis Business Central Role Center, which is basically a dashboard that is customized to the individual job roles in your company. So I am logged in as a case coordinator. The system comes with a large amount of different roles for different users, including a shop floor role center, which I'll show you in a bit. But your CEO, your CFO might need to see different things. You can customize all of these charts. In this case, I just have a list of customers that I'm responsible for. You can have a list of items. In this case, let's say I'm in charge of ordering the paper for the company. So I can have a look on stock of all of my different paper items. Here you can see a list of cases that I'm responsible for, cases that I've coordinated, cases delayed, cases completed. You can see pending purchases, pull up invoices. Also, it's very worth noting that PrintVis has very powerful search functionality, so you can get to any aspect of the system just by typing in search. Just a few keystrokes. And let's say I just want to see all of my items. And it can give you a list view of every item that you stock, depending on what you need. So your inks could be here, your papers, lamination, anything really, anything that can be considered an item. And it can give you format and show you how much you have on stock in your inventory. Units of measure, which is how PrintVis calculates. PrintVis is a very powerful calculator, which is what I'm about to show you. So let's dive into the case list. You can see every case has its own unique ID. And also you notice every time I'm hovering over something, it gives you a note on what you're looking at. So each of these has a quote number, an order number, your job name, your sell to is your customer, the status of the case currently, whether it's ready for planning, it's in production, it's in digital print, ready for invoicing, it's archived and reopened for some reason. Once a case is archived, it cannot be edited, but you can reopen it if you need to. Schedule, deadline, who's responsible for it, who's the salesperson on it. So all the basic things that you would want to see at your fingertips. Now I'm going to create a new case here. So I just press new. I'm going to type in a few letters of the customer that I know has asked for a quote. Say it's the Canon Group. All of this is header information. It's not all mandatory, except for the obvious essential parts. So we're going to choose an order type. You can see I have 4 different order types here. All of this is going to be customizable to what you need, but this is just a direct sale. And likewise for product groups, you can see all of these are your standard commercial print product groups, but we also have role centers and product groups for a label company, for packaging, for wide format. You have whatever you produce is going to be here. So we also have, if you notice here, we have template ID. Some of these are associated with a template, and that's what we're going to look at in this example. And a template is just something you create from an existing case once you've run a job. And if you have repeat orders for common items like business cards, pocket folders, magazines in this example, then you don't have to build out the quote from scratch every time, and it really, really speeds things up. As you can see, I've already got a populated order quantity, and that's because that's what's in the template. But let's say this is actually only for 2,500. I just changed that there. I have not changed the template. It's only on this unique case. You can see the format, 4 colors, 4 back. I've got a price, a pricing method, and we can say they have asked for this. Let's say it's a rush job and they really need this by next Tuesday, and they promise they can get us artwork today to get started. Okay. I want to give our job a name, of course. So at this point, I'm already ready to send a quote. I'm going to change the status to quote. And while we're on that, if you can see your status codes are here. This is the workflow. This is a very important aspect of how you run your jobs. So most printers have a common workflow going from request for quote to when it's sent. It goes back to the salesman for follow-up. Once it becomes an order, it moves to order status, and then you can plan it. PrintVis is JDF certified, so if you need your system to talk to your machines, you can do that. That's a more sophisticated level, but it's capable of doing that. We have customers all around the world who are JDF, using JDF to automate their shop floor data, where this allows you to see, okay, what is the machine current speed? Is it in production? Is it in make ready? That sort of thing. Okay. For the moment, we're in quote status. Now from here, I can pull up an example quote. You can print or email it. And this, of course, is going to be a customizable document to your company. So you could have your logo and your header information, all of this here. You can see that I have a deadline of sending this quote today. We move it to quote sent, and it's going to add a week just by default. And of course, you set this however you want it, but that's for your salesperson to follow up. Now let's look at the job card and go a little bit more deeply into how this is built. You can see this is a 32-page magazine with a cover. So here's our components. Now we can look at the specifications. And you see here we have a nice position for our text, for our cover. You can look at the process flow. It's just a nice graphic showing it goes from pre-press to print to folding and gluing. Now looking down at the estimate, you can see on the right side, this is what the system has calculated. This does not change. This can be changed. So if I want, for instance, you can see my profit margin here is 10%, but let's say that the customer has come back and said, well, your competitor will do it for less, and they want to match the price. So we can just say, if they want to do it for 4,000, whatever it takes to get there. There we go. Okay. So from here, I'm ready to send my quote, or we can say we're actually ready. We match the pricing. They say, okay, let's go with it. It's an order. We already have our deadlines set in here. So we can actually move into planning. Let's go to the planning card. In PrintVis, you can plan based on how you need to work. In this case, we pretend it's a rush job, so we're going to plan it based on when we know we can start, which is today. But you can plan backwards from when you know what to do. If you have bottlenecks on a job, such as laminating, something where the sheets need to cool, something that slows down your process, you plan that way. We'll plan it based on the start date. You see it's going to populate the times. This is all in your setup. If you have buffer time, that's what I was mentioning. If it's, say, laminating and you need to add 2 hours of buffer time into there to compensate for some slowdown, you can do that. So at this point, a job is planned. I'm going to show you another aspect of the planning, which is the PrintVis planning board, which is a Gantt chart you may be familiar with. And this is just a visual way to look at the jobs for the work week. You can zoom in and out on the day. You can see I have quite a few orders here. Down the left side, this is your resources. So here's your pre-press department, and it corresponds horizontally with this. So this one here is in design. When you hover over it, you can see the details of the job. You can see the press that it's on, when it's starting, when it's due, and other details such as the substrate, and the ink, the width, and the length. Same for this. And when you click on one of them, you can see how it shows you your workflow. Down here, there's our press, digital department, and you set this up based on your machine park. These are color-coded. So this one is in green, which says that it's in progress. Notice that note there. Okay, so we have a job running on our KBA Rapido. And we can see where the job is scheduled to go next and at what time. So if I go into the details of the estimating, this shows you each operation in great detail. So you can see for this is based on the template. So not all of these are used, and that's why you have no values in certain fields. But in this case, we are running it. We have plates, we have paper, and when you click on one of these departments, you're going to get the details down below. So here's the details of our paper. Here's our press, with printing, and our ink consumption, other finishing stages. And in this area, if you needed to, let's say you have something that requires table work. Right, you see across the top, you have all your different departments. And we want to, let's just say we want to add some subcontracting. Let's say for some reason they need a percentage of these foil stamped, and we have to send it out to a finishing shop. You can do that here. And notice it puts it in chronological order. If in this unlikely case, you're going to foil stamp a completed magazine, but it could happen. And you can add in here your costs. If your subcontractor gives you a price, you can add that here and add it to your estimate. But in this case, I'm just going to delete that example. Just delete that. Okay, so we have a job in planning. I'm going to escape out of this quickly and show you that also PrintVis integrates with Outlook. So here in PrintVis in Business Central, that is. So here we have an email from a contact, and we can say that she is my principal contact at a paper vendor, Paper Empire, and it gives you all the details. So this is excellent for your salespeople on the road who don't really want to get deep into the nitty-gritty of the system, but might need to, for instance, fire off a quote. In this case, because this is a vendor, it's giving me purchases and invoice possibilities. But you can do any of that right from here. Very nice touch. And of course, most people are using Microsoft Outlook or the Microsoft Business Suite as well. So that's just an integration that you should be happy to know. It's just an automatic part of the system. Now we can say we need to purchase paper for this. So we go to our purchase guide. Need a quantity. Let's say we want 10,000 sheets to have some on stock. Pull up our vendor. Create an order. And we create a purchase. Just like that, we have a purchase here, purchase order. And we can enter the vendor's invoice number that they've given us. Post and receive when that paper comes on stock. And then this can go to your billing department who handle your invoices. You can look at a job ticket. Again, not to be redundant, but all of the reports that you see, job tickets, quotes, order confirmations, they're all customizable. And they integrate with generally your Word documents. So it's going to be a Microsoft Word document that you customize based on what information you need your people to see on your job ticket. Now, speaking of the job ticket, let's jump over to the shop floor. So you can see here on the gear, I can personalize, I can design things. So when you need to add and subtract columns based on what you see, that would be here. I'll just click on that so you can see. If I wanted to add a field, it's going to pull up the available fields, and I would just drag that over if I wanted to. Okay. My settings shows me my current role. And you can see there are a great number of roles that come automatically with the system, both from the Business Central side and also from the PrintVis side. So here I am as a coordinator. I want to be a shop floor worker. So your people would log in this way. And it's going to take me out of here, and we're going to jump over to the shop floor worker role center. It's a simpler role center. It's based on what those people need to see. In this case, I need to log in. I'm sorry. That's where you select a cost center. That's already selected, but I want to select the worker. Let's say it's Kit. Select this. And she can see for her week, she's got 4 jobs on queue. She can look at her total jobs. She can look at her time recordings, which is excellent for your workers who need to see their statuses, how they've clocked in and out of different jobs. Let's look at Kit's work week. So here are the 4 jobs. You can see the stages of them and each what their status is. This one has the green across the top. So this is the one that we saw was actually in production. Let's take a look at that. You can see this is green because it's in make ready stage. Move it to production. You have a QA checklist. Do we have the correct proof? Do we have the correct paper? Are the bleed and the marks all okay? Check those off. If you need to leave comments, your machine operators need to leave a comment. If there are waste codes also. So if, for instance, the machine breaks down, you can say, this is an internal error. We cannot bill this time to the customer. The customer gives you an error. The sample's incorrect, the proof, that sort of thing. Shouldn't have made it to the shop floor, but that happens. Vendor error, let's say that the paper is curled, something like that. But these are the things that press operators have to deal with on a daily basis, and PrintVis just makes it very easy. I'm going to jump back over to the coordinator. Here. Back to my list of cases. And let's say, for instance, this one, let's just look at a quick invoice. So we can say that this one is complete and it's ready for invoicing. We want to move the status to this. Okay, and just jump to our invoicing guide. New invoice. And we just want to build a standard invoice. We select that. This, of course, is an area where you could have multiple invoice templates based on which you need to invoice, of course. Okay, and we are ready to post it. Yes. Each of these are called fast tabs, so you can look for details. You click them, open and closed, your shipping, your billing information. And as PrintVis is an international system, and it works with any currency, not any language, but many languages. It's a very flexible and very powerful system. You can look at our job costing. Let's say this is invoiced, so this is now in your CFO's department. You can pull up this. You can open almost every page in Excel to import and export data. If we want to look at the hourly entries for this job, they would be here. In this example, I didn't have any hourly entries. But as we were looking on the shop floor, this is where you would see that. For a specific job, what were the hours? And therefore, how did it match from actual to our quote? And that is really what I wanted to show you today. Those are the basics of the system. I stress that it can be as elaborate as you need it to be. Many, as we all know, print being a discrete manufacturing, every job can be unique, and PrintVis can be set up to handle your most complex quotes and production, but then also your very common items. If you're just doing brochures and business cards, all of those can be done with just a few clicks. You can fire off a quick quote. Let's see, I believe I have a business card order here. Yeah. This one, for instance, is in quote sent. You notice it does not have an order number. That's because they haven't confirmed the order yet. So it's just sort of waiting to hear back from the customer. You can look at the job card here, specification. This is an interesting one because in this example, you can see the layout is optimized for the sheet, but this would be on a digital press. If you had a large number of business cards, you could lay them all out here. You could gang jobs, so you could have multiple customers on a single run. If that became the most efficient way for you to run a business card or anything, actually, it will give you your layout and show you, in this case, very simple process flow. It's going straight from the indigo to trimming and packing. And we're back on our roll center.